Hi, my name is Andrew Cooper. We're filming from the Cooper household in Royersford, Pennsylvania today. The taping date is Saturday, February the 9th. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching and tuning in today. I'm here with Brian Roberts. Brian is the treasurer on the board at Camp Manatawny. Brian's wife Allison has her PhD in music. We joke that Brian Roberts has an honorary PhD in pessimism, and that's exactly what we want our treasurer to have, a realistic slant and a pessimistic slant. So Brian, thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you have any football predictions for the upcoming season now that we're done?
Oh, absolutely. I'm looking forward to the 2019 season and the Dallas Cowboys absolutely winning the Super Bowl hands down.
Boo, but okay. For those of you keeping track, Brian's term as a board member is expiring at the next board meeting, so you can vote him off the board if you don't appreciate him being. I'm just kidding, we'll keep Brian. So let's jump into some questions with Brian. We'll have some conversation, I'll have some closing thoughts, and we'll be done. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, Brian, can you tell us a little bit about the 2018 budget and what happened, some of the things that happened from a finance perspective?
Absolutely, Andrew. So in 2018 was a great year, and there were several things that I'd like to point out that happened. We started the year with a balanced budget. We had about $560,000 in revenue, $560,000 in expenses. We also had the Martin Foundation Challenge. So we were challenged to raise $100,000 by the end of the year, and if we did so, we would get a $50,000 grant, and we were able to raise that money. So we were able to put $50,000 into the bank.
Thank you to everyone that donated. That was great.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it was a last-minute push, and tremendous what everybody was able to donate and give. So also there came about the Springford Lodge cabin. It was a surprise to us. We didn't know, but it came, and we had the ability or the offer to be able to purchase the property. That was behind us, and luckily we had the money in reserves. We went ahead and purchased the property using some reserves money, and we were able to close on that in the fourth quarter. So we now own that property, which is wonderful.
So we didn't go into any new debt. It didn't hit our operations budget, but it dropped our reserves down a little bit, right?
That's correct. That's correct. No operations, but it did. We took it out of the reserves. So that's why the reserves are there. Okay. That's for opportunities.
Exactly right.
For opportunities, exactly like that.
Yep.
And it came about. So we were able to purchase that property.
Great.
As everybody probably knows, we made a very strong push at the end of the year to pay off debt, and that's one of the board's most prioritized goals was to pay off the debt, and we absolutely did that. The Martin Foundation Matching Challenge helped us, and so many people gave so much money and donated. Just tremendous how we were able to do that as a collective group, pay off debt. So right now, camp has zero debt.
Great, and we heard some great stories through our friends and family in our network about as Brooks posted the updates towards the end of the year with how far down we were going to debt. Parents talking to their kids about it, kids literally breaking open their piggy banks so they could donate to camp to pay off the debt. So thank you to everyone that gave some very large amounts and some much smaller amounts, but ironically some of the smaller amounts are more meaningful and tug at your heartstrings a little bit more when they're from our kids, right? So that was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
So how did we end up with 2018?
So 2018 we ended up with a $30,000 surplus, which is wonderful. So we had more income than expenses. And certainly thankful for everybody that attended camp in any way and gave financially to support camp. So again, putting all those together, camp was for 2018 had a great year. A great year.
So being a little bit of a pessimist, we didn't expect that $30,000 surplus as you were giving us updates all the way through the year, right?
It actually. Correct. We did not expect it, but we do. We do have a 30,000 surplus at that end.
We'll come back to that when it comes to 2019 stuff.
Yes.
So let's jump into 2019. How does our 2019 budget look so far?
So we started off the year with we also had a balanced budget. We always make sure that the budget is balanced at the beginning of the year, but we've also have some expected staffing changes that are going to cause some tough financial times for camp, but we will be able to use the surplus that we had last year to pay for those additional staffing, which I think will be good. So from a an overall perspective, camp is still doing really well from a revenue and expense
Great. So a
standpoint.
little bit of upward pressure on the expense side
Yep.
in 2019 with some expected staffing increases, and then also we're taking some of that surplus from last year to help balance the budget for
to balance it.
2019. Great.
Correct.
And we're going to put on the screen the chart of assets and liabilities. So real quickly, summarize highest level what's happening with assets and liabilities over the last few years.
So the last 3 or 4 years, assets have definitely gone up. So you'll see on the left-hand side of the screen, assets have risen. Now over the next couple of years, I expect them to kind of level off a little bit. But more importantly, if you look at the right-hand side, our level of liabilities has gone from $400,000 down, if you look at 2019, to zero. So right now camp has zero debt, no liabilities, which is a wonderful story to tell.
Great. So don't have to be a financial whiz. Assets going up is good. Liabilities coming down, and zero is good.
Absolutely.
All right. Great. Finishing up your side, you recounted to me a story, a conversation you had with Philip Winters. Philip was on the finance committee and was in the process of rotating off of the board, just as Brian was rotating onto the board as a treasurer. So can you tell me your interactions with Philip and tell us about kind of his tone and how that made you feel when you talked to Philip?
Absolutely, and I remember like it happened yesterday, but one of the first board meetings that I went to, that I was coming on the board and Philip was stepping down from the board, he pulled me aside and you could just see it on his face, see his concern, see the the imploring in me to make sure that camp has gone through some tough financial times, and he just did not want to see that happen again, and he really impressed upon me to make sure that when I am the treasurer, to make sure that does not happen in the future. So it really hit me. Made me a little emotional about it because we want to make sure that this goes well. So it was a great little story, and I appreciate him doing that.
Yes,
absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that and carrying on the torch of making sure we're making sound decisions with our finances. So
absolutely.
Thanks, Brian. A last few comments. There are 3 sets of open positions at camp. If you haven't heard about them, please check the camp website. There's an open food service position. For the first time in recent years, we're offering 4 paid internships for, I envision, college-age kids that are looking for some work in the summer to work at camp all summer long, so we're excited about those positions. And then finally, we're hiring and posting an assistant executive director role, so be on the lookout for that. That posting will come down within the next 2 to 3 weeks, so if you're interested, please jump on that. Everyone's interested in cabins, so a real quick cabin update, more will come, but with our debt being paid off, the board is fully focused on the next phase. 2019 will be a year of preparation for our cabins. Preparation for infrastructure, cabin design, plumbing, an architect will be hired, approvals and or permits, and then finally we hope to start the physical work on the infrastructure after summer sessions concludes, which will lead us to, hopefully, building a cabin or 2 in early 2020. Again, reiterating, no debt, only building when cash is in hand, so we're excited about continuing to be fiscally responsible with that. And again, if you've been involved in building projects, you know these things tend to drag out and timelines are challenging, so bear with this as this could change, but this is what we're hoping for. And just to reiterate, we love the old green cabins. We want the feel of camp and the cabins to be as similar as possible. We're going to retain that horseshoe format of camp. We're going to keep the rough structure of the cabins where the bunks are around the outside, so there can be that good discussion inside, and also we want that rustic appearance as much as possible. So we're excited about that. Be on the lookout for a Q&A and more information to come. Our 5-minute update or so turned into 8 or 9 or 10 minutes. Thank you to everyone who has worked at camp and supports camp and has volunteered at camp and has given to camp. Thank you for your prayers, and please continue to pray for us as a board and our staff and our volunteers as we continue to work and carry out God's mission at Camp Manatawny. Thanks for watching, and look forward to seeing you all soon.
Thank you.